Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a coughing episode of This Is Our Life.
He's getting all choked up.
Yeah, I'm like,
Emotional about his chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Yes, I've already eaten. This is a second piece.
What I didn't do was consider that one layer was actually a little larger than the other layer, so I should have put them the other way. I should have put the larger one on the bottom.
Well, too late now.
Yeah. Everything here is homemade. Well, we didn't make the sugar, we didn't make the flour, but you understand what I'm saying. I also want to say, I think some people are misunderstanding me. I hope not, but I think they are. I know one person is not misunderstanding me. But, you know, I said white people speak Spanish funny. Yes. And it's not really I mean, there is definitely a difference between Mexican Spanish and Spanish Spanish. But even in Spain, you're going to find some differences by region. But it's white people. You know, when you try to pronounce certain sounds,
they just don't come out the same.
Yeah, it's like, what did you just say? You know, I'm like, are you sure you know what you're trying to do or say? You know, I mean, it's like, come on now. You know, and another important thing, you need to actually try and speak with an accent. That actually helps. It can, but sometimes you can really mess it up when you do that. If it's not, you know, if you're not used to it. But I also want to say that this is Memorial Day weekend. My wife's father was in the U.S. Army Air Corps, or U.S. Army Air Corps was.
Yeah, Air Corps.
And that's
before he separated from the Air Force, Army. I mean.
Yeah, that's not a lot of people can say that. And where did he serve during the war?
He served, I think it's Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and I think somewhere around Tucson, Arizona.
And I also want to say to my dad, who was in the Canadian Merchant Marine during the war, and his dad, who was Canadian Navy during the war, first engineer. My Uncle Alf, who was Canadian Navy during the war but didn't leave Canada. And his youngest brother was RAF and lost over Germany. A friend of mine in college from Spain, he had an uncle who volunteered and went to Germany. That wasn't all that unusual, people. Spain was only officially neutral. Remember, we were a fascist country at the time. Anyway, my mom's dad was in the First World War, U.S. Army. My best friend in Germany, his dad was a German soldier during the war.
Fewer than half the soldiers in the 603rd were artists. The rest came from all walks of life.
And your father was a military officer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a career Army officer.
At the time he was Army?
Well,
I mean, he went between the Army and the Navy, didn't he?
Yeah, he went from well, if we go back far enough, my father went from Canadian Merchant Navy, which would be the Merchant Marine in the United States. And then, he was a civilian after the war. Then he came to the United States, and he was, as a civilian, he was Merchant Marine here. Then he got in trouble because he was an illegal alien, and he, it was, I guess, during the Korean War, and the government found out he was here illegally, and they told him you either have to register for the draft or you have to go back to Canada. What did he do? He joined the U.S. Army. He was a private in the 6th Infantry Division, Fort Ord, California, Fox Company. Then
They were now going to be in the risky business
they found out he was a stoker or ship's engineer, and the Navy really needed stokers at the time. So he wound up being transferred into the Navy. Now, they asked him why,
Stoker do? They keep the
the fire.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, stoke the fire.
Stoke fire.
Yeah, for the
that's awesome.
boilers. Yeah.
Well, you never know how
Yeah.
push things around too.
Yeah, it's true.
And say you're the admiral of the ship and you're down there launching torpedoes.
Yeah. The government asked him, or the Army or Navy or whoever asked him, he said, "Why didn't you tell us you were a stoker?" And he said, "Because, I'm an immigrant and I feel that the best jobs should go to native born Americans." And then they told him, "We don't care how you feel, you do what we tell you to do." So he was in the Navy for a while. He was on the Shasta, the USS Shasta 86, and I don't know what other ships he was on. When my parents met, they were both in Norfolk, Virginia, where my mother's family, by the way, arrived in that area, lived in that area, starting in 1632. In what is, or used to be, a little town called Great Bridge. Now it's like a shopping center. Houses, streets. There's actually a street there named after my mother's family, Cuthrell, Cuthrell.
Oh, there is?
Yep. And the Methodist church there, the land and the original building was given to the church by my mother's family. So we have a history all over the world, people, because I have family.
Cuthrell Street.
Yeah.
There.
I have family in Australia. I have family in England, Ireland, Scotland, Spain, Germany, probably France, although that you'd have to really go way, way, way back. And the United States. Even Spain. I mean, if you go back far enough, you'd find even more of my family, because the modern Irish came from Spain. And my hometown used to be a Celtic city. A long, way before any of us were even thought of. Hundreds and hundreds, like 1,000, 2,000 years ago. But anyway, this video was supposed to be about this cake.
And don't you love the cake?
No? Yeah, it's a good cake. And this time we had powdered sugar, so we didn't have to make it.
Yeah, the blender doesn't appreciate that.
No. Yeah, if we had like a really powerful, like industrial blender, maybe it would work better. How do you make your own powdered sugar? You take white sugar, you stick it in the blender, and you blend it, and it basically...
You hope to God the blender doesn't blow a gasket.
Yeah, because if you put your hand on it, it's hot.
hot.
Yeah, so be careful, folks. Anyway, happy Memorial Day.
The Army